background properly.
Oh, rather than like looking off to the side and like that, yeah.
Just being able to look like at the screen,
right?
Like a foot away from it instead of having like the camera to look up at. But anyway, welcome back to another Last Call podcast.
Hello.
We have not died. We are still here.
Thank goodness.
We just had a couple mishaps. So we had each of us had to cancel once, and then that was following our one episode the last episode we had was
it was a halfie.
Yeah, it just fucking fell apart.
I think our feed just died.
I had people come, they're like, why'd you guys only do like a half-hour podcast? I was like, if you watch it, you'll understand. It just kind of died in the middle of it.
We have so many. We've been doing this so many. We've done so many of these now. We're in the 70s now, right? Somewhere.
Yeah.
Like we've done so many of these at this point, and we feel like we should be pretty competent at it. And just fucking technology fights us at every turn. And it's not just like the remote thing. Like back when we were just doing it in your basement, all in one place, it felt like it was a fucking struggle every week. And sometimes, like last week, it won. It beat us, and we quit.
The whole world, our podcast world, collapsed around us.
It's amazing we came back at all.
I know. It's just for you, our adoring 50 fans.
Count yourselves fucking lucky.
Oh, have you seen this shit?
What in the fuck is that?
That would be Not Your Father's Mountain Ale.
Is that like Not Your Father's Mountain Dew? Is that what's going on there? That is alcoholic Mountain Dew?
So I can be a bro and an alcoholic at the same time. Well, dude, it's so extreme. Oh, fuck. I don't have a bottle opener around here.
Just smash it on the edge of your desk.
Oh, I should try to open it with the...
No, I just mean like smash the neck of the bottle off and then just drink it from the jagged edge.
Oh, yeah, that'd be fucking metal as shit.
Yeah, you'd go fucking viral for that shit.
Oh, wait. I got one. Look at this shit.
I like where your head's at.
Time to open my beer. Or my Mountain Dew. Oh, wait, it has a bottle opener.
Look. There it is. Yep.
This is meant to be. I'm going to open every drink on here like this.
Cut your fingers off at the same time.
It's all rusted off. It doesn't do it. But
so now just do the tilt it towards the computer and
yeah. Well, that's where I'm like, there's so much shit down here that I do not want to have.
Just spray alcoholic Mountain Dew all over wires and connectors and see what happens.
I don't know how people do the lighter thing. I probably should have learned that.
I think it's just pressure, right? It's not.
I think. God damn it. I guess I'm drinking whiskey out of the bottle.
I think I've told this story. I think I may have told this story on the show before, but the first time I tried Not Your Father's Root Beer, I went out for brunch before an O's game. It was like a 1 o'clock O's game. It was a playoff game. And me and Adam, I think I may have stayed at his place the night before. So we get up the next day and we're going to go to the baseball game. Are you going to go get a bottle opener or whiskey or something?
I'm still debating. Oh, no, there's whiskey within reach, but
it's empty.
No. Well, one of them is.
Oh, okay. One of them, your backup whiskey is still there.
I'm still upset. Like maybe
I feel like you should be able to accomplish this with that tool. Although your risk of injury is medium to high. Oh, you got it. Oh, okay, good job.
Mauled that bottle cap though.
Better than your hand.
Yeah, I suppose. Anyway, go ahead.
Cheers to last call.
Cheers. Tastes like carbonated piss.
I got so used to doing Fireball during this. I had Jameson tonight, and it feels wrong.
Oh, man, you're drinking Jameson, and I'm not.
Delicious, but wrong. So the first time I had it, so Adam and I were going to a playoff Orioles game the next day. We had tickets to, and so we go to brunch, and I think we went to a bar called Smaltimore, which is one of my favorite like bar eateries in Baltimore. And we went there, and I got some trash bowl, and then we started drinking at like 10:30 or something like that. And maybe like 11:30, these two bros came in, and they were like, we were on the end of the bar, and then they were on the main part of the bar, but like, I don't know, 7 or 8 seats down. So far enough away that if you're just talking to one another, you can't really hear each other. But like, if you talk loudly, it's quiet. It's 11 o'clock. Only degenerates are at this bar at this time of day. And they're in for, I think it was like a Natty Bow special. It's like, dollar bows or something like that. And they're fucking crushing bows at 11 a.m. and just getting fucking all broed up. And I had 2 or 3 at that point. Like, I think I'm beers or rum and cokes or something like that. I fucking forget. And I saw on the menu, I was like, not your father's root beer. I was like, what is that? And he's like, oh, the bartender's like, oh, it's, alcoholic root beer. And I was like, I would like to try that. So I order it. And so he goes to the beer cabinet and he pulls it out and he starts opening it. And the beer cabinet where it's located is in front of these 2 bros that are down the bar. And one of the bros looks at it and is like, which faggot ordered that?
That went well.
And the inner me wanted to say 2 things. Like, 1, can a guy just fucking enjoy an alcoholic root beer without being judged? And 2, sir, this is the year 2015. We don't just call people faggots anymore. This is But instead I just look at him and I'm shocked. I'm just like, I wanted to try it. And he's like, oh yeah, no, it's cool, bro. No worries. I'm like, I don't want to start shit with these guys. I know what you would have done in that situation, but I was so shocked that I'd just been called a faggot at high volumes at 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning, at 11 a.m. on a Saturday morning for my choice of beverage. I just didn't respond properly.
Like, man, this brunch escalated quickly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I don't know. As much as I judge people for what they drink, I don't really judge people for what they drink. I hate when people order stupid shit, but I like, drink what you like. I mean, that's the biggest thing. The only thing that really bugs me is when people that aren't drinking anything special judge people that drink something else. And it, like, the biggest pain in the ass when working like cheap dollar beer nights, people come in and it's like, oh, we have a $1 Natty Bow, and they'd be like, ugh, that's gross. I'll take a Miller Lite. You are not. Just shut up.
Dollar Bows, fuck that. 8 shots of Royal tequila, please.
Yeah, like if you're drinking light beer or regular like American lagers and crap, drink whatever is cheap. If you're a connoisseur of bad beer, you need to change some life choices. Like,
it's all poison, boys and girls. It's all poison filled with calories. Don't fucking judge other people's shit.
So you might as well drink not your father's mountain ale.
That might actually be poison, though. I would not drink more than one of those a week. That will probably literally rot your liver.
It tastes like it might.
Right now, actively.
Yeah. Killing
your liver is like the guy at the end of Indiana Jones.
You chose
Raiders of the Lost Ark. Oh no, yeah.
Oh.
Wait. No, you're right. Crusaders. Yeah, it's like the guy at the end of Crusaders. You're right.
And then just rot back. Like, it's a great scene. I love referencing that, though. So I can appreciate it. Speaking of poor choices, recently Conor McGregor decided to fight a bus. and is facing a lot of problems because of it. Apparently the backstory is he was having beef with one of the fighters who was on this most recent pay-per-view, and like that fighter was talking shit about one of his boys or something. So Conor got his private jet and like 20 of his boys from Ireland and just rolled over and attacked a fucking bus full of UFC
lost his shit.
He had like an aggressive tantrum at this bus, like throwing what they threw like a hand truck and shit at the smash.
Yeah, he shattered the window of a bus with a fucking hand truck. Like he shattered the window. And as a result of this incident, didn't he ultimately cancel 3 bouts? Like, because his boy couldn't fight now, and like 2 guys got fucking glass in their eyes or something. Like,
I don't know how it turned out, but
and then there was, and then on top of that, there was a guy who's. I wish I'd pulled up the story. One of the fighters, for some reason, which wasn't clear to me in the article that I read, took a fight at the last minute. The ultimate result of which was he needed to lose 26 pounds in just over a week.
No biggie.
And that's not like prepared fighter, like hey, they've been building water weight and muscle like that for months and months. Like he was in fight shape and they're like, no, you need to be way lighter than that. And so he needed to shed something like 26 pounds. And they're talking to the guy and he's like, yeah. No, we're not talking about muscle here. Like he needs to shed. We're not talking about water. Like he needs to be shedding fat and muscle mass. Like his body's not going to want to do this. And I think on about day 5, he went in for like a preliminary weigh-in or something like that. And the New York State Athletic Commission said, nah, bro, you can't fucking fight like that. You are not like, you're going to die if you go into the ring the way you are right now.
I don't remember. I haven't been paying attention to UFC in forever, but I am happy that however this all happened, because it made me look at it all. And I saw this guy, I'll try to say his name, Zabit Magomedov. You know, that guy.
Does it make you wish you had like a more exciting name like that? Because that's a fucking rad name.
Hell no.
You have a pretty boring name. Like it is.
And people still fuck it up.
You know?
How do people fuck up my name? I have 2 very common first names as my name. People still fuck it up. But no, hold on. I'm gonna screen share this shit because it's fucking.
This is how podcasts get canceled, and then
I know this shit
minutes
explodes so fast.
Try.
Screen share.
Maybe.
Oh wait, I can share this window. Did it actually pop up?
Nope. It's a frozen shot of you.
Oh, technology.
At least that's what I see. I mean, it could be that viewers out in viewerland see something else.
It says I'm screen sharing. But
it does say you're presenting to everybody, but you're just presenting this kind of wacky face you had. You're back now.
All right. Well, that was fun while it lasted. But anyway, this guy, he's 6'1". Hold on, let me pull up the screen so I can at least check it. So he's 6'1.5", 145 pounds, and he's a fucking ninja, man.
Whoa. He is 6'1.5".
Yep.
And 145 pounds.
Yep.
Oh my God.
So basically he's within an inch and a half of me and 80 pounds lighter.
He's fucking Slender Man. That's
yeah. But I would not fight this dude. It's scary, man.
You would not fight this guy. You have 80 pounds on him. I very rarely hear you say that.
So it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but still, the dude's insane.
Would you fight that guy?
Huh?
Would you fight him?
Yeah, I would.
Like, I don't know, 20 grand.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Worst case scenario, I lose. Fuck it, I don't care.
That's true. You're probably not going to die in the ring. Like, you just get your ass kicked. He's not going to murder. He doesn't get to stab you if you lose. Like,
I want to know if this guy was on that bus, the Conor attack. They should just send him out to beat up the 20 dudes.
That's a good question. Is there okay? I got to figure out the way I want to ask this. Is there a UFC weight class champion that you would fight to the death?
Yeah, I'll do one of the. I'll take on the 135, 145.
Okay, you win, you get like $50,000, but if you lose, he does get to stab you and you die.
For only 50 grand?
I'll call it 100.
I don't know. That'd be tough.
Because I guess he could always get lucky. I guess that's the problem. Like, you know, he could just snap one off and just hit you on the button and you go to sleep and then.
And I mean, if anybody's going to.
Wifey T's collecting an insurance policy. Like, you know.
There's one way to look after your kids.
That you probably don't get to collect on if your husband dies in a fucking illegal cage fight.
Yeah, where do we have to like Rambo 2 it up and like dip our hands in glass? That'd be fucking rad.
Is that a discussion you can have with your Aflac salesman? Like, tell me about my policy limitations.
Does bare knuckle glass covered fist fights in underground fight leagues? Does that lower my policy coverage?
I see you shaking your head. Is it the glass? Is that the problem? If we just did regular fists, would that be okay?
Gummy bears, sprinkles. Oh.
Nobody's going to get that reference. We're too old. Nobody's going to get that reference. That movie wasn't that good to begin with. I know that's a touchstone for our childhood.
Hot Shots Part Deux is a fantastic piece of cinema.
I'm with you, man. I'm just saying we're the only two.
I need somebody to agree with me. So one of you, like 5 people that watches this early on, to comment on this shit. Agree with us or argue. Fuck it. I don't know.
And I think I only get it because you've referenced it once every couple of years for 20 years now.
Honestly, I don't even remember when that came out. I seen it
once back in 1994 or whenever that came out. No chance I would remember that.
Do I even want to look when that came out? I don't think I do.
It can't be. It's got to be 90. I'm going 94. I'm pretty confident in that.
Hot Shots. I can't spell do.
D-U-E-X?
D-E-U-X. Yep. 93.
Oh, so close.
Holy shit. That was a fantastic
25 years ago.
That's pre-Tiger Blood Charlie Sheen.
Ooh, by a long shot. Pre-AIDS Charlie Sheen, maybe. So let's circle back around on this. I want to get your take. So Conor McGregor at this point has kind of transcended the UFC a little bit, right? Like, I mean, he was their poster boy for a long time. He's clearly bored of it or has outgrown it because, I mean, now he's boxing Floyd Mayweather, and there's this rumor floating around maybe he's going to MMA fight Floyd Mayweather, who's not a real UFC fighter. He's not interested in defending his belt, which is part of why they say he was so pissed about this whole thing, because he was stripped of his lightweight title. Is this a publicity stunt? Is this him stirring up a ruckus to put focus on him before his big announcement about his, McGregor Mayweather 2? Or did he cook this shit up with Dana? You know what I mean? Or is this just what he does?
I thought maybe, because it really didn't make sense for it to happen. But then, so I was thinking maybe they did it as like a publicity stunt, and then it just got out of hand, that's when it came out. Like it was Conor being Conor. Like they came out trying to make this big scene so that he could be let go from his contract with the UFC, and then all of a sudden he's promoting the MMA bout with Floyd Mayweather.
Oh, interesting. You think he has to be let go from the UFC so that he could fight Floyd Mayweather?
He had to get a special exemption.
Oh, you're right. Interesting.
For the boxing match.
Oh, okay.
And obviously, they would want their cut of it. If you're going to have an MMA match, UFC wants to be involved.
Sure.
But if you have that MMA match, you don't need other fights. So if they could promote it on their own, that would be the easiest way for them to make their own money. So
right, no organization has to oversee this thing. Like it could, as long as you get a state to okay it, New York or Nevada or something like that, you could just host a one-off. That's interesting. I guess you bring up a good point. Like this whole thing could have been swept under the rug a little bit if he hadn't shattered the window on that bus and hurt those guys. Like if he just thrown that hand truck into the side of the bus and dented it, like I'm not saying this is a non-story, but like it doesn't fucking make front page of TMZ kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's just, fighters being fighters kind of shit.
Exactly. Like it would get, a week's worth of press about, MMA being cockfighting and all that shit that always pops up.
Right. I mean, Bloody Elbow would jerk off all over themselves over it for a couple of weeks, but
But yeah, so honestly, I don't know. I mean, we'll have to see. I saw that Dana White apparently changed his tune where he originally came out and was like super pissed at Conor, like throwing him under the bus.
I see what you did there.
And then apparently recently he's just changed his
It's a bus joke.
Get it? We go for highbrow here on last
Sorry,
podcast.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. So he changed his tune. What is he saying now? I haven't seen the follow-up interview with Dana.
So I just saw like a little excerpt, but he's saying he's starting to praise Conor again and just saying how he appreciates what he's done and all this other stuff, and he just thinks he made a mistake and all this, and so I think he's seeing his money fly out the window, and that's all he worries about. He doesn't care about these smaller fighters getting hurt. He wants that big money.
Right. He's got like 12 guys, 20 guys tops that he really cares about, right? Everybody else is fucking chicken feed to him.
I mean, honestly, he doesn't give a shit about any of them. Like, as soon as they stop making money for him.
Right, but I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, Conor still definitely has... There's meat left on that bone. Frankly, a lot of it. I don't know that it's fighting for belts in the UFC, but like there's still a lot of money to be made off of him. And his belt holders and they're legit challengers, but there's also, how many guys do you think are under contract for the UFC? A couple hundred?
Yeah, probably not even that.
Yeah, 100 guys.
Because they all the smaller guys tend to have really small contracts where, they're obligated for a fight, maybe two.
I'm just wondering, like, how many are in the stable at any given time? X amount of weight divisions, and then champion, and then a few major challengers, and like you got to fill the card with other, guys. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I'd probably say like right around 100, 150.
Yeah, okay. That sounds...
Because you figure, what are there, like 5-6 weight classes now? You got heavyweight, light heavyweight, middleweight, welterweight, lightweight, bantam.
I would have said 7. I don't know. I don't know anything.
You have like 3 or 4 women's weight classes now. So,
oh, that's a good point. I didn't even really consider the women.
But they're only bringing them in per fight.
Right. And that's like some weird like Title IX shit. Like it's really like
they're like contracted fighters. It's like, we'll just bring you in for this and then you're fired.
Yeah. Hey, you want to work for the UFC for one night and let some girl beat the shit out of you for an hour and a half? Yeah. I know you think you're gonna win. You're not. Just fucking, just show up. Bring your gloves.
I mean, that's what women's MMA was like 5 years ago.
I don't know that it's like that far from it now. No, you're right. I don't know anything about it now.
There's a skill discrepancy, but it's not like, 5 years ago, women's MMA was the same as UFC was at UFC 1. It was pretty much, all right, here's Chris Cyborg Santos, who's, like one, just a certain part away from being a man. And then you have just some lady they pulled off the street who has kickboxing experience. And then they just toss her in there and mauls her. Oh, those early fights were fucking brutal. Oh, it's hard to watch, especially because it was women, and you just see what appears to be a man, or I mean, Chris Cyborg Santos barely looks human. It certainly looks like a mismatch. There's some sort of ogre beating the shit out of some soccer mom. Those were the initial trappings of women's MMA. How far we've come.
I just have images of some like woman in a cardigan who like dropped her son off to like fight in another like early UFC match. And they're like, ma'am, how would you like to make $700?
Would I?
Well, that would pay for new tires on my van. What do I have to do? Well, 20 minutes of work, tops.
We might even let you off early. Yeah. I miss watching UFC. I need to get back into that more.
Man can only have so many hobbies. I wish that was a thing I could be into. It's just fucking I don't know if I have any hobbies at the moment. This might be one of them. I don't even know what I'm doing with my life.
Trust me, I know. I'm gonna be joining you here soon.
And you've got like fucking 3 jobs and 1.85 children and
Jesus, staying busy. Hey.
Speaking of meltdowns, former star of Silicon Valley, TJ Miller, continues to implode. Riding on a train with a woman who he apparently had an argument with, decided to call the police and claim that she had a bomb in her bag. Of course, the police showed up, determined that this was not true, and called TJ Miller back and been like, hey, remember that time you called us and said there was a bomb on the train? Turned out there wasn't. What's going on, dude?
I like the part where he said he claimed that he only had a glass of wine. But apparently, I mean, it's like they can go back and check that shit. They go back and look. He had like 2 glasses of wine and 2 double scotches on the rocks or something like that.
Oh, is that really what happened? Yeah. Is that like, oh, wow.
I mean, that's a serious amount of alcohol, especially. I don't know where this train was traveling, but that seems like a short amount of time to drink that amount of alcohol.
Yeah.
Especially if you've gotten a big enough argument that you call a bomb threat on the person. That's when you know you've got a real tough guy.
In researching this a little bit, one of the things that I learned that I guess came up in one of his stand-up specials maybe, but I wasn't aware of, like, he apparently had a brain tumor back in like 2015. And they had to do brain surgery on him, and they cut out a chunk of his brain the size of a golf ball. And one of the things that's floating around about it, and I wasn't able to verify this before the show, is that like it cut really close to one of the areas of the brain that like is responsible for impulse control. So like people are starting to say like part of his meltdown might be the fact that he has a fucking missing chunk of his brain.
I'm a little skeptical of that.
I am too, except for I just read excerpts from his quote unquote exit interview after he left Silicon Valley. and he's a fucking crazy person.
I assumed he was always a crazy person.
I guess so. I just thought he was like kind of a funny, weird guy, but like hearing him talk about leaving Silicon Valley and like in the same sentence, he talks shit about like being in the Emoji Movie, but also about how much money him and Sony are gonna make. And he's fucking out there, dude. This is not gonna be the last thing. If he doesn't go to jail for it and disappear forever, this will not be the last outlandish thing he does. I guarantee it.
Have you ever had to have a conversation with a legit crazy person?
I'm sure I have, but not one that I can think of off the top of my head. Maybe back in the days when I hung out with more people who are likely to be crazy.
There's been a couple times where I've met people and it takes a little bit because there's certainly a difference between crazy and just a strange person.
Yeah.
And at least in my experience, it generally starts out as, oh, this person's a little weird. Okay. Like there's plenty of weird people in the world. You know, I'm a little weird. Fuck it. Like, who am I to judge? And then you realize, holy shit, this motherfucker is nuts.
Oh, I'm with you. That transitionary period is really weird. I know exactly what you're talking about, where you go from like amused to concerned. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was a guy that used to come to Ellicott City who I haven't seen in I don't even know how long. And he had an incident where he came up to Diamondback and was like talking gibberish. Like he was just hanging out at the end of the bar. He had like a backpack filled with just random items.
Oh.
And he's speaking sentences that fit together as if they meant something, but it's just absolute gibberish. Like none of it makes any sense.
Oh.
And we're starting to realize things are a little weird. And he's starting to sound kind of crazy. He was another person who I'd known for a while and was always weird, but apparently he only made it to weird when he was on his medication. The rest of the time, he was fucking insane. And we had to call the police on him because we thought he was a danger to himself or others. And he had like, because he had like a backpack with just like a screwdriver and like a knife in it. And I don't remember if it was, I think it was before this. There was an incident where he was on Main Street and got in a fight with cops, and they like, he like ended up on like the hood of the car getting tased.
Holy shit.
And it's, you know, a few months earlier, I would have had like a conversation like, oh, this is like just some wacky drunk guy. Like, absolutely insane. And not long after that, I'd see he would come in and he'd be all drugged up, like they upped his meds, where he was like a zombie. It was terrifying, like, because to see the transition, like that absolute mania of just him being a crazy person, and then seeing this where he looks sedated. There's like no expression on his face, and he's just like, everything's moving real slow, and he's just not really responding. I'm like, what? How is he out in public? Well,
that is one of the
that could be TJ Miller.
That is one of the things that really like genuinely scares me, is that like cycle that people get into where they're like, you hear it a lot with depression, like people are clinically depressed and they can't deal with it. And so they try meds, and the meds either shoot them into the sky, into this like manic state, or, you know, they don't make it any better, or they just zonk you out. They turn you into a zombie who's barely even there. And this roller coaster you go on for years where you try and get the mix of meds right is fucking terrifying. I've been watching Shameless on Showtime. Me and Susan have been watching that for, I don't know, maybe a year now, kind of slowly working our way through the seasons. They're on like season 7 now, and they deal with that like really well. There's a character on there who deals with that. And yeah, that fucking sucks. So yeah, maybe he's just on a bunch of meds. Maybe he's just a fucking asshole. I don't know. It's very possible that he's just a huge dick. I don't know.
So my day job, I work at a physical therapy place, you know, just doing basic stuff, helping people through workouts and all that, you know. And I've met a couple crazy people there, and I feel like the bar environment is a much easier place to deal with that sort of situation. When you're in a professional setting and there's a crazy person in front of you, you know, hey, like, where do you go from there? I mean,
right.
I just have to sit there and play into it the whole time. I'm like, oh, yeah, I absolutely understand everything you're saying. And you're not insane.
Yeah, because you're used to being in an environment where, Jack, what the fuck? I'm sorry, my dog is destroying a box in the corner of this room.
Yeah, fuck that box.
Because he's an asshole. You are used to dealing with people in an altered state of mind, and people who act weird and do dumb things. That's not that like outlandish to you. But when you get into a setting where you have to treat people with some modicum of dignity, it gets more difficult.
Yeah, when a drunk comes up to you and starts acting weird, that's pretty much expected. But when someone comes up and says your neck hurts, and then just followed by a bunch of crazy shit, there's no easy way to deal with that.
Yeah, and them or their insurance company is paying out ludicrous amounts of money to get fixed, and you can't just be like, bro, go sit in the corner and smoke cigarettes. I don't got time for you right now. Like, you can't.
The world we live in. Crazy.
Where you at on Facebook selling all of your shit to everybody?
Why is anybody surprised anymore?
I don't know.
I mean,
I know I sound like kind of a dick, but like, this was the least surprising thing to me that's like ever happened. Like,
yeah,
Facebook sold all your fucking information to some company you didn't want to have it. Like, that's what they do. Like, that's their service. Like,
yeah, anytime. That's pretty much what it was made for.
Guess what, guys? That's what Google does too.
Yeah, and you're like, even if you avoid Facebook, you're not avoiding Google. If you're using the internet, you're somewhere involved.
Man, how hard would it be to avoid Google at this point?
You're gonna go back and use Yahoo, Alta Vista.
I guess you could. I guess you could use.
Oh, Bing.
You could use Edge with Bing.
I'd rather die.
With
take all my
with a Yahoo email. Yeah, I guess if you did those things, you could avoid Google entirely.
But
you know the problem is I'm all fucking wrapped up in this shit now at this point. Like my web identity is almost irreparably tied into Google. I don't think I could fix that shit if I wanted to.
Between Google and Apple, I mean, you're fucked.
Yeah, exactly. Apple's the same way. I think I could get away from Apple if I wanted to, mostly because I don't use like Apple computers or Apple, like, yes, all my shit's in my phone, but if I really wanted to like just 86 my phone and just get my contacts out of it, I'd be okay. I could leave Apple. I would have a really hard time leaving Google because all of my like, you know, sign-ins and logins and all the shit attached to my email there, like it's all like this web that's woven together. I am Google's bitch at this point.
There's the episode title. I am Google's bitch.
Like I'm with Apple because I love me some Apple. I'm just with Google because I just fucking been with them for forever at this point. Like, Facebook, I could leave, I guess. I don't want to say like I could leave anytime I want. That's fucking ridiculous. I could break the addiction of Facebook and bail out of that place, and it wouldn't be the end of the world.
Deleting your Facebook is the adult version of running away from home. Because everyone's like, oh, I'm deleting Facebook. I'm getting off the grid, and then it's like a month tops. And
they sneak back in there. I want to know the percentage of people who like hard delete Facebook the first time. Because I know you can. I know if you put effort in, I know it's hard to do it.
Like, so like actually delete it?
Most of the time they just say like, okay, we'll suspend your account for 30 days. If you don't come back, like we'll quote unquote get rid of it.
Yeah. We'll sell it to somebody else.
I know that they will purge your data if you go through the right set of steps, but I think nobody does that because everybody's terrified to do it.
I'm wondering what the next big thing will be. But I think my biggest confusion was I love Facebook. All I do is I go on there, I fuck with people, like you use it for networking.
Mm-hmm.
It does a little bit of everything. So
yep.
I expect it to be connected to everything, and I expect it all to end up shared out with the rest of the internet. So that doesn't surprise me. What I don't understand is people that have Facebook and share on Facebook, but no one interacts with them. So I have a couple friends where, they'll have like 100 or 200 friends, and they'll like share stuff, and no one reacts to it. And it's like, why? Like, go write in a journal or something. What? Why are you on Facebook? You're sharing this with no one.
Right.
I mean, it's a social network. If no one's interacting with you, it's just a blank piece of page that you could just write on and throw into a fucking corner somewhere.
Right, yeah, exactly. Just write it out and toss it into the trash can.
Because I'm absolutely a like whore. Like, if I share something and it doesn't get a reaction, that's upsetting. Then I know that I shared something that wasn't worthwhile. And it's not so much that I need the reaction, but I want to know that if I'm sharing something, that people actually want to see it.
Sure. Yeah. No, you get that little, dopamine rush that comes along with, those alerts and stuff like that. Like I'm on board. I get it.
But why have it if you don't? I would absolutely delete Facebook if I didn't have that.
One of the saddest things that I've ever had to like help fix. This was most of a decade ago. I don't remember how long ago, but it was most of a decade ago. And my mom came to me and I was talking to her about Facebook, and she was like, I keep putting stuff up and no one, like I have a bunch of friends like you and your sister, and I've got friends and whatever I'm friends with them on Facebook, and I keep putting stuff up there and nobody does, like, I don't get any likes. I don't get any comments or anything like that. And I'm like, I haven't seen you post that. Like, A, that's really sad. And I want to cry right now because my mom is really sad that nobody's like liking or commenting on her things. But B, I'm like, that's also really weird. And so I'm like, let me look at what's going on. And I sat down and logged into her Facebook, and she had managed to lock down her privacy settings like so hard that nobody was seeing anything that she was posting. So she was literally like posting to no one. No one could like it. No one could comment or anything like that. So I was like, I'll just turn this shit off. And then, the likes and comments started flowing again. And she was so relieved. But there was like a day there where I was like, Mom, that's the saddest shit I've ever heard. Like, you've been posting for like 2 months and no one said anything or liked anything. Like, that would really depress me.
It's like the equivalent of when people in like middle school or high school where it's like everybody just pretend that Karen doesn't exist.
Oh God, I remember doing that to people, and in retrospect, it's the fucking meanest thing you could ever do to someone. That is so fucking shitty.
That is like aggressive. Let's just ruin their day completely.
But it's also so you know that feeling that you get when you come up with something that you think is really, I think you get this less than I do. But like you come up with something that you think is like really clever and you share it with the world and it gets like fucking zero traction. You get like 2 or 3 like sympathy likes from your friends who like everything that you do just because they're like, you know, cool like that. But like you just put something out there and you're like, oh my God, it fucking just whiffed on the whole world. And the worst part is do you use Time Hop at all?
I use the Facebook one.
So Time Hop is great because it goes through like my old photos and stuff like that, and it goes through my old Facebook and it shows me my old posts. The problem is Time Hop will show you like, remember this thing you thought was really fucking clever that nobody liked? Here it is. You can relive that again.
I've actually seen that too, where it's like early on when I first restarted my Facebook, and I had like I basically didn't add people as much, so I had like a small fraction of the number of friends, and I'd see these posts I had, and it was exactly like that. I was like, why did I use Facebook? I had the same thought about that I have about other people, about myself. I was like, why did I even make it to this point in Facebook? This is pitiful. God. This little post with like 3 likes on it.
It just comes rushing out. Like Time Hop's like, remember this 6 years ago? Like, I remember the process of like coming up with the post and like, oh, this is really fucking clever. And I'm just going to put this out in the world and people are just going to laugh. And I put it out there and fucking nobody gave a shit about it. Oh, look, my mom liked it. Great.
Thanks, Mom.
Jack, what the fuck?
You can hear that over the microphone.
Hey, stop. He's like a fucking junkyard dog. He's just like pulling tape off of boxes.
Hey, puppy.
What the fuck, Jack? Relax. Go lay on the couch. I have no idea what time we started recording. What?
Almost an hour ago, I think.
Okay. All right.
Maybe like 10 or 9:35 or something like that. Something like that.
Okay. Are we in Would You Rather territory? Do we want to hit another one before we go there?
I think we can hit Would You Rather.
All right. Let's rock and roll.
The only other thing I want to talk about is how much I hate baseball, and I'll save that for special people.
Oh, okay. We can do that. We'll talk about baseball next week.
I'm looking at you, Phil. Anyway, would you rather have someone take a blowtorch to your genitals?
Jeez. What the fuck? You can't start with that. Did you just make that up? That's not on the card.
Nope, that's that first one. Have someone take a blowtorch to your genitals, or have someone run your knuckles ever so slowly through an electric table saw.
So I lose my fingers.
Slowly.
Whoo!
I like how it's even it's like comma ever so slowly. Comma. Just to really emphasize it.
I'm gonna go with, man, that's a fucking tough one.
I know what I'm thinking. I gotta say knuckles, man.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I do too. Either way,
that's torture.
Well, look, I'm thinking beyond the physical pain of the act, right? You're either left without a dick or you're left without fingers. That's the question to me. Like, yes, both of those things are fucking awful, but I can live through those things. Do you either not want a dick or do you not want fingers? That is a tough question. No fingers, no phone, No keyboard. Driving may be difficult. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe come up with some sort of prosthetics. God, but it's my dick. I don't know. Like,
I'm not letting the blowtorch near my junk.
But your fucking fingers, dude. You're just gonna be fucking stumpy for the rest of your life. Like, look, I like my dick too. It's really important to me, but
have you seen? We're like 10 years away from full-on cybernetic bodies.
I think you're gonna be like, we're like 10 years away from like not really needing our dicks anyway.
Cybernetic cock.
Right? Like, can you replace that? Like,
no, you can't.
Yeah, I guess you can. I guess
for real. I'm sacrificing my knuckles.
Okay, fine. I'll go with the fingers just so I don't seem like a gay.
All right. Would you rather, as a man at a performance in front of a huge crowd of men and women, do the full Monty with a small erect penis which somehow developed from the adrenaline, or with the shrinkage as if you just got out of cold water? What?
It's a weirdly designed question. So I either have...
You're in front of you're stripping in front of a huge crowd with either a small erect penis or shrinkage as if you got out of cold water. I say shrinkage.
Right, but is my dick the same size in both of these equations? Because like they mandate that my dick is small in the first one. Is it still small with the shrinkage? Like,
I mean, you can write off shrinkage if you get.
So I can either have people see my small erect penis or my small soft penis, shrunk penis. Yeah, no, it's shrinkage. That's fucking definitely the answer.
I really want to just isolate that.
I know. As soon as it was coming out of my mouth, I was like, no, I should not say this out loud onto the internet where things never
I really need to
go
find
away.
a way to mark, like, timestamp this shit so I can come back and just make little clips to put on the Facebook page.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
It's like my small erect penis, and then just that's it. That's the clip. Would you rather chew a mole off someone's neck, or drink a half cup of your best friend's blood?
Christ. I mean, it's blood, right? Like, that's definitely... It's not like some homeless guy, like intravenous drug user's blood. Like, you're rolling the dice on AIDS or something. Like, you know, it's half a cup. That's not that much.
Yeah, I guess you're right. That's
really
not that much.
It's a few. It's like what, 4 shots, 3 shots? Like,
it's like a bomb. You're doing a blood bomb.
You're doing blood bomb. Yeah, fucking definitely. And like, it's real. Like, you know, whose neck am I chewing it off of? How big is the fucking mole? Yeah. It's way too many questions on the first one. I'm going blood.
Yeah, we'll go with blood bombs for everyone.
God.
Would you rather, as the only fertile person of your gender in the world, give your seed?
Now we're talking.
Give your seed to anyone who wanted children, or pick the best candidates to propagate the human species? Is that really a question?
That's a good question. That's a great question.
Am I not seeing the underlying?
Yeah. So, are you going to limit who you give it out to based on, you know, physical properties or whatever properties you pick? Or are you just going to do anybody who you can find, anybody who asks, you do it?
Absolutely.
And the truth of the matter is, for the species, you do it to anybody who asks.
Fuck the species. I hate the human race. I hate people. The less people, the better.
I wonder how many. That's an interesting question.
It's interesting, but between the two, I think it's an obvious choice.
It's a weirdly designed question. I'll give you that. I mean, are they insinuating if you pick the best, like you're limiting how many you do? I mean, if all the guys on the planet died tomorrow, how many children do you think you could father between now and the day you died?
Huh.
There's a lot of factors there, right?
That's a lot of fucking.
It's a lot of fucking and a lot of chafing. It's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of questions here.
Although it does just say, "Give your seed," so that could be like artificial.
You just hand it out in like film canister bottles, which is now a dated reference that people don't fucking get anymore. Remember how we used to use those for all kinds of things in the 90s?
Would you put that in your like digital camera case now? You can't even buy a digital camera anymore.
No, also not a thing.
We just double aged ourselves.
Now, how many? I mean, it's in the thousands, right? Give or take. You could have thousands of children. Yeah. If you do it smart,
I mean, there are people that have done that where it's like, I've read some little article where they were talking about sperm banks or whatever, and they had some mix up because you're only supposed to be able to donate or father X number of children or something because of some error in how they organized everything. They eventually had to tell a guy that he couldn't donate anymore. And the way it was described in it was like, he was like, so you're saying I just have like a lot of kids or something? And the doctor couldn't say, but was like, yeah, basically. And he's like, what's you're saying I have like 200 kids? And apparently the doctor was like, motioned upward. I was like, holy shit. And that's just the guy doing it to make a few extra bucks on the side. If you were tasked with saving the human race, I'm pretty sure you could pump out kids.
I read an interesting article the other day about a lady who she did like one of those online DNA tests where they you send away your spit or whatever, and they come back and they tell you interesting things about yourself. So she found out, the results came back. She found out that her dad wasn't her dad. And that was because when her parents were trying to conceive her, her dad was the weak link there. And so the fertility doctor said, look, here's what we can do. We can find good, healthy sperm from an anonymous donor, and we'll mix it in with your husband's sperm, and we'll put it in there, and you'll have a kid. And you'll never know who the real father was. Like maybe it was the father, maybe it was the anonymous donor, like who knows? And her parents said, okay, we'll do that, but there's some conditions you have to follow. The person needs to be a college graduate and have long dark hair, like the husband's grandfather did, whatever. Like they put conditions on it. They're like, okay, we'll agree. The reason this woman found out that she was a part of this process is because now the doctor was being sued because instead of finding a guy who graduated college and had long brown hair and et cetera, he was just mixing in his own DNA with everybody else in this process. Where this shit's going. So her dad was probably this fertility doctor who is now part of this massive class action lawsuit. Anyway, that was a long way to go to say, I'll just give it to anybody who wants. Anybody who meanders into my field of vision. You want a kid? You want a kid? How about you?
You get a kid. You get a kid.
I'll put one in you. I don't even give a shit. I'm not doing anything right now.
Babies. Would you rather always lose or never play?
Ooh, now we're getting like
philosophical.
Yeah. No, it's like, burn your balls or cut your fingers off. Now we've gone to the other side.
Yeah, it's we've made quite a turn.
I don't. Always lose.
Really? I'd
At
never
least
played.
You know. At least you know. At least you know, and you know you lose enough times. It just becomes a part of your identity. Yep, I'm just the guy who loses at shit.
Like being like a Baltimore sports fan.
Oh, fucking! Oh, that was brutal.
I never thought about it like that. Like, if you never played, you just would never know if you could win or lose. I didn't even really think of it like that.
I guess at the end of the day, if you're on your deathbed and you're like, you know what, I fucking lost every round and that sucks. That's probably better than being like, you know what, who knows what I could have done if I just tried. That would suck.
I don't know. Being a failure would suck too.
That is also true.
I'm gonna stick with never play, just so we have a little variance.
Finally.
Well, no, the last one we did, you're just pumping spunk into every...
Oh, that's right. I'm just putting in anything that moves, and you're like you're picking and choosing. Okay.
So, okay.
Was that it? Was that the last one?
Oh, that was it.
That might be the best Would You Rather card we've done.
That was pretty solid.
That was all over the place. We were up, we were down, we were cutting fingers off.
Spunk was everywhere.
We were imagining our deathbeds. That took me to a lot of weird places.
We drank each other's blood.
Yeah, fucking apparently. What was the other option there? Drink your friends. Oh, chew a mole
off of
somebody's neck. Some anonymous stranger's neck.
I like to think they weren't made aware of it first too.
Yeah.
Like you just have to go up next to someone like
the guy who's administering this just like walks you into a restaurant and you're like, that man, that mole right there. Get it.
Do it.
Just to attack him like a wild animal.
Oh man. So we made it through. Nothing crashed.
Hooray! You say that now. You're gonna hit the fucking end button and this shit's gonna crash.
It's gonna delete. Like everything we've done. Gone. That's what I have to say to that.
Fuck your couch.
Okay. All right, kids. We'll see you next time.
That's a good one.
Thanks for tuning in again. Now that we're back making this shit
for a full hour.
I am not far off from another child on the way, so we'll still crank these out as much as we can until my life collapses around.
Last call vacation.
We'll see how that goes.
Hope it's not of the can't get right variety where they just don't come back.
I hear there's big things in the works.
I've been hearing that since Christmas.
That's a fair point. Anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in and watching. We'll see you next time on the next last call.
See ya.
Stopping broadcast.